Hello everyone, Coyote here. Let's see if I can get a little glare out of my eyes and stuff. And I'm going to the door shut pretty well. The kitties are asleep with me here. So I'm just gonna test the water because I'm gonna be got that, I'll put that. I think I'll be okay for now with my drink. Ooh, that's hot, but that's good. Ooh, ouch. So soaking my feet, I'm getting over my issue, I believe, with the fungus. And so I soak in the morning and I soak at night, sometimes twice. Maybe after a bath, I may soak again. I'm going to try to be brief but concise, clear, get a lot of, this talk out to you. I've named tonight Transformative Energies. Some of it is because I want to share some work you can find on YouTube. And then I want to share work that I've been added to my own work to do work on me and what I've done. And some of those, how can I put it? Some of the words you don't wanna mince or you don't wanna use. But then you can embellish with your own style as well. Because it's not wrong, you can't get it wrong. There are certain high galactic beings to call upon that will help you. And this comes some of my mentor, which I'm going to read my notes about that. I'm going to go into notes that I shared with someone, a friend, so that as you go back, you can see where the timing is and you can rehear and write down that which resonated with you and have some verbiage as a template or outline to then bridge or build how you may enhance saying something. And I'll give the example of what I've been going through and using what I'm using as well, so that might be a further assistance to you. I am planning on pulling some cards, and so this eye thing also is seemingly an allergy. It might also be a little stress as well. But I will, I'm not clear yet if I'm going to use both decks. I probably will. I'll ask the cards just to kind of help us with these transformative energies, what message might come through as we apply ourselves in new energy of growth, our growth. And I really get that a lot of times when I speak to you, there are, at times I feel very, maybe I'm not sounding always as positive, or maybe I'm, excuse me, or maybe it sounds like I'm still pointing a finger. And I'm really just going to watch that, because that's not completely my at all intention. It's my intention to share and inform, but not stay in a place where you are not getting a lot more light and not being uplifted. So kind of backtracking a little bit, like, for example, if I shared this other thing that's on mainstream media, which has to do about abortion, and briefly it has to do with making abortion illegal in several states. And some people are happy about that because they believe in God and life should not be taken. And of course, some people are more like, well, this is my body and it is my choice. And both are very true and valid. And I'm going to give you an experience. And so I'm going to tell you the bottom line point of view, why abortion needs to be, in a sense, respected and in a tight rein. Because unfortunately on the planet, you may or may not know, when people go to abortion clinics, if at all possible, any baby parts salvaged, in many, 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 many cases, are sold. They're sold to go in products that we use. They're sold to go in food. if a fetus is old enough where baby's big enough and aborted, used for ritual, other killing, blood, and again in research. And these are things that the women or young girls, raped or not, a night of a condom breaking or whatever, experience brings them to that particular location for that event. They don't know that. Some of the people working there don't know that, but it's true. So this is a reason why there needs to be a very big accountability. And so I know in a firsthand experience what it is like to be at an abortion clinic and watch the characters that come and go. Now, there are people new in the country, there's a language barrier, there are work barriers, there are many hurdles to go over. Maybe there's even a health concern, and then they have an abortion. These people could be in their 30s or their 40s. They're not 16 or 14 years old. Okay. So they're making a life decision. And some of them that are that ethnic, it's not a life decision, it's just a decision that's going to be made. Then you have a group of women, children, young women, who maybe a condom breaks, maybe they're drunk, you can name any scenario you want. And perhaps, yes, some of the time, 50% of the time, nobody knows they're there, they're getting an abortion. And they're sucking down their Cokes and their Pepsis, and it's a lark. And they don't always even have enough money to get anesthesia. They just basically spread their legs and get vacuumed out. And it's not a comfortable, emotionally comfortable event, and it's not easy. But one, in dismissiveness of their choice and how important it is, some that are young enough it's a lark, it's a thing to do, gonna go out again and party. Not all, some. And some young ones or younger people that show up who've been romantic, and maybe romantic for the first or a few times with the boyfriend of their heart, their parents have brought them to this clinic to get an abortion because they're between 16 and 21 years old, and that's not going to happen in my house. And now I've seen all these things. So I'm letting you know there's a variety of players under this house umbrella. There's also such a thing as a wrong place, wrong time, strangers, condom breaking, and a woman who's been having morning sickness, and it's just not the right thing. And it's a horrible decision because she knows that life is life and precious, and has learned something so valuable through a life's lesson. Because life is life. A seed is a seed. And under the right circumstances, it grows to fruition. And in this case, becomes a child, a person. So this is a very delicate matter. It's a very important matter. It's a very heart and soul matter. And it's not wrong, but it is one of accountability, and it is one of great heart tugging. And we should not take it lightly, nor force people in or out of. However, you must, if you hear anything, hear that life is precious. And if we make adult decisions, sometimes those adult decisions have consequences to our heart. It's just as right to keep a baby at 16 as it is right to keep a baby at 60. It is an experience. And the caveat in this is knowing life is precious. Whatever decision you do, whatever decision you make, it's not a light one. It's not one of frivolity and gaiety, especially if you chose to have an abortion. Now, in our new world, as things move forward, we may have such heart accountability that we know we're not going to have these clandestine meetings, or casual sex will be different. There's a there can be a funness and an aliveness in waiting to be romantic with whomever. And I'm not saying you should, but there's a wisdom in waiting. There's a wisdom in watching. There's a wisdom in flirting. There's a wisdom in enjoying life and knowing that you don't have to rub parts together in order to experience God or your own magnificent, exciting passions. And the other part is there is work that has been done and also is not talked on television, but there are some sacred exercises where someone may work with a shaman, or I'm not clear, a particular energy worker, and women may do energy work on self-aborting. And I am sure in many indigenous cultures where there was an abortion required, wasn't called vacuum parts out, I'm sure there were herbs to eat and or drink and help the individual through a more natural release. So this is the reason behind some of what's happening on TV, and they're not saying it. It's Satanism. It's Satanism. It's satanic ritual abuse. It's organ harvesting. It's blood. It's putting parts in our products like hair products or face products. It's sales and any other gruesome and or unfathomable connection to something so diabolical you would not think it exists, but it does. So I mentioned some alternatives at the end that I really believe in, and I bet if you Google, you will be able to find people or through word of mouth. And so this is not to, again, blame or tell you what to do, but if you just open your mind to the possibility that every subject has 2 or 3 subjects attached to it that are unfortunately not talked about on TV, and just makes a division and a war. And this is not about being divided. It is about being wise. It's about stepping into your power, stepping into accountability, stepping into grace, partnering with grace, and being the wise self that I know you are. Okay, so that's enough on that. Okay, so notifications, I think I need to try to shut those off temporarily. Here I go with my eye again. So give me a moment while I, just want to go to my notifications, see if I can find this really quickly. And my settings, I think. Where are settings? There we go. Connection, sound, and vibration, notification. We want to, I just put notifications off for right now, so hopefully that will not keep doing stuff. Let me go back to what I had for some of my notes to look at, so I can also come back and scroll down this to share with you, because I sent someone notes, but they're not in order necessarily of any kind, but they are around. Okay, let's see. So This part that I'm going to mention first is not from my mentor, but you can find this on YouTube. And I've put it in the description below. So what you're going to see there, it's different. Is that? So what you're going to see there is the word Bashar, Bashar. Bashar is a space historian, and I forget what clan he's from. I used to think he was from the bad guys, but I don't think so. And if he is, he's not bad. Daryl Anka, who has been in Hollywood, he was a special effects person, who got interested in the idea of UFOs and channeling and psychic ability after seeing spacecraft and started to explore that side of himself, eventually came through with Bashar. And while other people may channel Bashar, Daryl Anka is considered like the Bashar psychic expert, if you will. So on YouTube, I put down that you could go to YouTube and you can look for Bashar, Bashar, and it would be Sacred Sirian Circuitry Exercise / Meditation. And that's also in the description. So Sacred Sirian Circuitry, it's Sirian, Exercise Meditation. It also will appear Sacred Circuitry Meditation 15, as in 15 minutes. Again, that's in the description below. Now, what those are 15 images. And in those 15 images, they work neurologically to help our memory, to help us get connected deeper within ourselves and the parts that are, galactic and ancient. Those are my words. You can actually go listen to, and you should go listen to. It's Bashar Sacred Circuitry 1 and Bashar Sacred Circuitry 2. And when it's, I think it's called Sacred Circuit, like Sacred Circuits 1, Sacred Circuits 2. What that lecture 1 and 2 was a weekend workshop. And in the one, Bashar shares these symbols, and then he tells you exactly how to use them, which will be, you look at the 15 symbols as they are in order, and you look at them for a minute each. This is in those the YouTube information I give you. The exercises are there at each image is in order. So you won't take them out of order. They're shown in order, and they're shown for a minute each. And when you do that for 3 days in a row. I might do it 4 days in a row just because the first day I wasn't concentrating as much. But it's 15 minutes, only 15 minutes. It's those 15 symbols, and it's 1 through 15. It's that order. And that's what you do for 3 days. After that, he suggests strongly, then you take the images you want and you look for at least a minute, but you can look at the different images as a total for 15. That is the ones that are calling you. And you actually can reproduce them if you want via graphics on your computer, or he says just get index cards or pieces of paper and put each image hand-drawn. However you draw them, it's your energy. So that's perfect because they don't have to be perfect. You'll get them pretty perfect as you draw them. But however you draw them, your mind will know what they are. And so you'll just write the word, like one might be the word create, one might be the word manifest, one might be the word release or manifest or flow, receive. Whatever the word is, you write that word, just the one word, and you draw the image. And after that third day, you look at these in any order you want. However they're calling you, you may just look at one for 15 minutes or one for 1 minute, but he says exactly what to do. And you can also use them in combinations. You're going to find some of these images, perhaps in Buddhism, several indigenous peoples, prayer rugs, Indian blankets. There's going to be similar cave images. You're going to notice that culturally, it's very likely ancient other cultures, they were visited by those space beings, either Sirians or others who had these codes and who shared them, or those who went into trances got some of the codes. And it just showed up culturally in their creativity, in their prayer time, and what they shared with their tribe. They're literally their tribe and or guests. So those are things that you can look up yourself. And again, they're in the description, telling you what the names are so you can go look. And it's not a long exercise. Now, if you want to do more, there's a Bashar exercise called Enneagrammatic. So it's Enneagrammatic, Enneagrammatic circuit, which are some symbols. And I don't know, somewhere as you study that, there'll be the verbiage that goes with it. There is verbiage that you say exactly with those words. If they're not under one video, they may be in another, but I know that I remember, and another person wrote in the comments of this particular Bashar exercise and grammatic circuit, the exact words to say. So it's a sentence, and it's there. I don't have that in the description, but you will find it. If you're hearing my words, if you're taking notes, you will find it. And then the other Bashar exercise is called Transformative Shifting. It's a series of circles that kind of has a line that sort of connects like a maze. And there's a way to do that as well. I'm not going to go into these last two. It's the symbols that I wanted to include in my talk tonight, or at least as the complement is why I'm bringing them up. Because I'm a person that's been downloaded with codes and images and formulas and it keeps growing and expanding, it's very likely I may have these images already, also from a long time ago when I did look at this, but I don't remember exactly if I remembered or knew how to do this exercise. So I'm doing it again. And those people who already know that they speak light codes or light language or have energy from the quantum cosmos, they may not be interested in this, but you might. And you might just want to have it as information in your toolbox, that if you don't feel that it is something that you want to pursue, you have it as a suggestion for others or for yourself at another time, or just to be aware of. It's very much like if you go look up Gregory Grabavoy, who is a mathematician and scientist, who was downloaded with a sequence of mathematical formulas, numbers. That's in his work for healing, which you could also look up online too, right? Grabavoy, not knowing the spelling right now, but if you just sound it out, Grabavoy, the last is VOI. And if you even put like YouTube, Grabavoy, number sequence for healing cancer, number sequence for healing acne, number sequence for dog problems, or whatever, just put it in a series of information will come up. So it's very likely us who get information from the quantum have that in us too. But these are tools for your toolbox. And tonight was just specifically bringing up Bashar and those codes because I've been downloaded with so many different images, pages and pages that I can't remember, except they show me a lot in the color pink. And sometimes they show me formulas that stick figures in bold black font. Okay, so now, last week, I was experiencing a meltdown. I had three and a half, probably almost 4 meltdowns in like a matter of 6 days, maybe even less than that. But anyway, so in a week I was having not quite myself. I was feeling pretty evil and pretty triggering, and getting triggered and getting triggered and getting triggered about my experience not leading the right way or my health. And I had gotten like sick again where I couldn't work. Had to just slow down. I could feel the energy anyway. Like I really had a hard time working anyhow. Some of the days I made that okay, but one day I just went to the grocery store. Did like what amounted to maybe an hour-ish, 50 minutes to an hour, 15 minutes errand. Came home and I was just out, down, resting, sleeping. And then I sort of got this cough with mostly like sore throat, laryngitis mostly, and then this dry cough, which I think is more stress related, in that I'm still here in Massachusetts and I have not had the courage, or I didn't have the courage then, to get in my car and go to Florida because my savings is going down, and I got afraid, like, am I really going to stay here, go to a different town, and really start over again, have my own spot, maybe get a job, do my thing to try to start all my jobs that I want to do for myself and the Quantum Collective. And it was losing it, and I wasn't quite myself, excuse me. And it felt like a little being attacked and a little bit like having a nervous breakdown. And it was very, 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 very close to a huge, like I felt like a mental breakdown. So I wasn't between not being able to talk and emotionally what I was going through. And a lot of people are going through stuff. Sometimes it's masked because you are working and you've got other things to do, and so you're just exhausted, and you go to bed at night, or maybe there's some more diversion, or maybe you're just resigned that you don't feel like your dreams can come true at all, and maybe you just process and cope with things in such a way where you just kind of accept you're pissed off, pissy, you don't give a fuck, and you don't know how to do these things that I'm sharing with you. So my mentor and I finally talked. We had our session. She had to cancel, and then we were able to get it together. And I told her what was going on, and I really needed help. And she could see that I was fragmented. And I would say that she's right. I felt pretty fragmented. I felt like I had some tears from speaking with her, and I also felt like I need to get a grip. I need to get a grip on myself. I need to switch. I need to shift energies because I'm losing it, and I'm going to have a huge nervous breakdown. So we talked about that. And we talked about how she was going through some of those things, and some other light worker people are. And maybe you are too and just don't know what to call it or what it's from. But definitely because the energy on the planet are changing so intensely, and because evil is leaving the planet, and pretty much it's pretty much off. It's just that there's residue and they don't want to die. Just like I'm experiencing a toenail fungus and a foot fungus, and friggin', the fungus doesn't want to die. But I'm doing so much between energy work now for sure. This energy, well, I'll do it tonight when I'm done with you guys. I'm doing the energy work, which involves the bathtub and Epsom salts and calling in the light and certain things I'm going to say that I'm going to teach you right now. And, I'm taking oregano drops, which is very powerful. And in my case, it doesn't like it. So this stuff is coming out and drying, but it's coming out. I don't know if you want, oh my God. It's like plant life likes me. The nasty plant life likes me when it finds me under stress. So that's coming out. And yeah. And so I'm taking the oregano, and I have tea tree oil and lavender and coconut oil. And then I have this, it's like a high, what do I want to call it? It's got the words here if I put my glasses on. It's chlorine dioxide, and it can be used for feet. It can be drank. I was trying to drink it earlier last week, but I had it in too strong of a dose, so I was getting headaches right away, like with every other sip. So I know now what I have to do to drink it the correct way. I didn't die, and I drank as much as I could, which could have amounted to 2 ounces, or 3 ounces. It wasn't very much, but I know now how to do that. But that's another story for another time. It's just when you need certain tools, you start to discover. And even today, he said over-the-counter Lotrimin AF, which he felt helped a lot of his friends who had super really bad, super really advanced toenail fungus, which wasn't a prescription. Certainly there are prescriptions, but I was led to this beautiful, handsome quack podiatrist. He must have some redeeming other values, but I was given something to do, and I poo-pawed that I did it for 5 days. And I'm just saying that I was so happy to have some information that I was like, okay, well, I'll try this with this apple cider vinegar stuff that I'm doing and blah, blah. But I then got this other stuff from Florida, and I upped the dosage. I've been upping the dosage for my feet, which is really, really helping. And so it's all working out. And it's also working out really because I got this energy information. And the energy information I'm going to share with you is very helpful to keep in your toolbox, especially again if you're feeling attacked, sometimes depressed, sad, flipping out a little bit, getting triggered easy, feeling like your goals, dreams the next day can't happen that easy, you're in judgment of others, you maybe don't feel like yourself completely for whatever reason. So this is going to help you, okay? So my mentor was saying, okay, I'm fragmented and I got to pull it together. And she was very complimentary. She said, you're a really great energy worker. You got to do some work on yourself. You got to spend some time. You got to spend some time. You got to go do these things that I'm going to share with you. One of the things she also gave me was an intervention symbol. I'm going to show you that right now. Let me get this to show. Hang on a second. It's not showing right now. I'm going to draw it if it won't. Oh, it's not showing that way either. No, it's not showing. Let's see about this. Sorry, excuse me for 1 second. What the heck did I do? So I lost my light for a second. If you can bear with me. Oh dear, I don't want it to go in the water.